Today, we brought regional stakeholders from Rio South Texas together, which is, 7-county region and the northern Tamaulipas area, together to talk about the future of an automotive cluster, an initiative that we have going on to try to create a binational automotive cluster in order to help promote the region as such. The concept of a cluster is not a new concept anywhere else in the world or even in the United States, but it's a new concept that hasn't existed here in our region. And it helps develop and create know what we have as talent and what we manufacture here, how long we've been doing it, and try to promote what we do here as a region in order to attract investment into the region right now.
And the investment by the auto industry in our region has been growing for many years. Why do you think it is that nobody's thought of doing this analysis before?
Well, I think there's been a lot of talk in the past. It just has never developed. As a matter of fact, I know that there's an initiative in Matamoros right now happening. There's an initiative for the state of Tamaulipas for an auto cluster. It just does not happen. It is difficult to bring a group together. You got to bring in the private industry, the manufacturing companies. You got to bring in the local not-for-profit economic development organizations. The institutions of higher education have to be a part of it, and we all need to collaborate in order to make this happen.
And you had a special guest today. Tell us about her.
Yeah, our special guest was the licenciada Elisa Crespo. She is the president of the automotive cluster, the Metropolitan Automotive Cluster in Mexico City, the state of Mexico, and the state of Hidalgo. She had a great presentation because she has gone through this already. She started her initiative back in about 13 years ago, is what she told me. And it's difficult to bring everybody together. But I think, the group that we have here, I think it's going to be key. They're the key stakeholders for the region, and they're going to be the ones that can help us make this happen.
So as she's been working on her project for 13 years, has she seen the benefit of that? Has the fact that part of Mexico been able to promote and explain just what a heavy presence of auto companies are there, has that helped them with their economic development efforts?
Yeah, in her presentation, I don't remember the exact numbers from what they went for, but she mentioned that their numbers grew exponentially, not only in growth to the manufacturers that were already there, but also new manufacturers wanting to settle in the region. So that is one of the key benefits, that it creates new companies or expansion of existing companies, which creates more jobs. Now, the big thing here is that we got to look at is working with the institutions of higher education in order to build a new technology. She talked about AI, she talked about robotics, industry, 4.0 is now stayed in the background. Now we're talking about industry 5.0. So we definitely need to not only fill the gaps of the current on-demand jobs that we have here, but we have to start generating the educational system for the jobs of the future in order to attract those.
And in your closing remarks, you said there's no reason it should take our region 30 years like it did her and her region. You think that a lot of the groundwork's already in place, and there's no reason it should take that long.
No, I don't think so, because we have people like her that are going to support us, that are going to help guide us. She's willing to talk to us at our work group. So she's got a roadmap already. So it'll be easier for us to create a roadmap off of something that's already being done as best practices, right? So I don't think it should take that long, but we also have to get together with the regional stakeholders and create that roadmap and create that strategy so that we don't take another 12 years before we have a cluster ready to go. We want to actually be promoting something in late 2026 or mid 2026. We have an aggressive timeline.
You also said that once you've done this first initial cluster, that a lot of that work that you've done will be also useful when you do, say, an energy cluster or other industries.
Yeah, the idea is when we do the data gathering for all manufacturing operations in the region, the 7 counties and the 10 municipios in Tamaulipas, whether it's aerospace, whether it's medical device, whether it's logistics, energy, whatever it is, gather all that information and segregate it by sector and start with the automotive cluster just so that we can learn and do the right thing with the automotive cluster, which has the biggest footprint, and then move on to the other clusters. And that'll make it a lot easier for us to develop that.
So you're saying here and now that the automotive industry has got the biggest footprint in our region?
Yeah, historically, yes. I mean, Matamoros has had factories for over 50, 60 years. And we've had some piece of that in the United States part of our region, but very small. Reynosa has a big footprint, or Laredo has a big footprint. So we have to first, we always promote, but we don't know exactly what we have, what we make, and what our capacity is, and our talent is specifically to a specific sector. And this is what the data is going to give us, so that we can do a strategy for that.
How much of this initiative was developed because of that visit recently by the folks up in Bexar County? They came down to our region and spoke about their automotive cluster from Dallas down to San Luis Potosí, and the valley seemed to be an afterthought. The valley wasn't even part of what they were talking about.
Yes, I mean, that definitely had an impact. I mean, they're doing a great thing over there. The only part is that it included only that one corridor through the I-35, which is the Laredo, Nuevo Laredo area. And COSTEP serves as a region, all the way from Laredo, Nuevo Laredo to Matamoros and Brownsville. And so what we're trying to do is say, hey, we can have that all together here as well, and not just be the training ground for other parts of the state or other parts of the country, but have our own trainees and our own educational systems creating the talent pipeline for the operations that exist here in order to expand or attract.
So although you said you need buy-in from all the stakeholders here, can we take it as read that COSTEP will be like the lead agency? And the reason I ask about that is, in the past I've heard talk that UTRGV, Ron Garza's department, Economic Development Department, would start to collate the information and have a database of information.
Well, I think there's room for everybody. COSTEP cannot do it alone. It takes a region, or like they say in the past, it takes a village. I think there's going to be a place for everybody. The monumental task is collecting all that data and putting it in a structure, in a platform that we all can use, and that we can develop some good regional marketing materials to help attract and expand.
So right at the beginning, when you asked everyone to introduce themselves, and your chairman, Jim Darling, introduced himself, and he had a quip. He made a joke of the fact that, look at this, we have all the economic development groups in the same room. That's never happened before. So that being the case, that, over the years, they'd all do their own thing. They never work together. What gives you the confidence in this project that they will all come with you?
Well, because they're professionals. They know what's good for their community. They are seeing things regional. And yes, there's competition, and competition is good in every aspect of business. And that will help each community prepare better, but at least know what they need to prepare for. If we have all this data and we have, what we're trying to attract into the region, then the communities can prepare for that. They can build their industrial parks, related to what we're trying to attract. They can, segment certain parts of their city for rooftop growth. So it's a holistic strategy that we're trying to do here, not just a piecemeal. I think, if it benefits one, it benefits all, is really the story here that we're trying to do. The Valley and Laredo's a little bit further out. That's why Rio South Texas, it really includes two regions. It includes the Rio Grande Valley, and it includes the Laredo region. I couldn't call the Laredo region the Valley, right? Because it's not. So that's why the name. And the name wasn't something that COSTEP came up with. That name's existed since 2008. So we just trying to bring, two smaller regions together because we encompass more, including Laredo and all the assets that three-county region has.
Okay, so let's assume you have great success with this, and you're hoping for a sort of a breakthrough, and you'll have something finished at the end of 2026. For people that don't work in manufacturing, that might view this video, this interview, and say, what's it all about? tell us again why it's important, and what could it do for our region if we had all that data, in one spreadsheet.
Today, our program of promotion of Rio South Texas has been primarily the infrastructure, the bridges, the airports, the ports, the young population, the educational system, the hospital system, the cost of living. So we've been promoting the regions as such. But when they ask us, well, how many auto parts do you manufacture this part, and what capacity do you have for this auto part? We can't speak to that today. Only certain individuals, depending on what community they can speak. So we need to speak to that as a region, so that everybody, nationally and internationally, knows that we have capacity, we have technology, we have the educational system, and we have the population to address the issue. A lot of other parts of the country are seeing, where they don't have the workforce, and we do. So instead of sending the workforce out to their locale, let's bring the companies here.